Andrea always insists I do like the dance of the islands for the holidays for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes.
I've seen your belly dance. You're quite... Woo.
I say, look at the belly on that guy.
Complete with a grass skirt and a coconut bra.
Yeah. And I know I don't fully fill out the coconut bra, but I'm doing my best.
Hey, E for effort.
Reminds me of Baloo the Bear in Jungle Book.
I just remember Paul Vallas is on hold listening to this. What a shame. Paul Vallas has a new column at the Illinois Policy Institute site, which you should read. It's about the battle against school choice and how it hurts black and brown kids the most. And he joins us now. Forget everything you heard while you were on hold and talk to us.
I'm just trying to visualize
the coconut bra. Yeah, I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah, the Balua in the Jungle Book.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize for everything with me. All right, look, I like the work you're doing at the Illinois Policy Institute and in the Chicago Tribune, and wherever you're right, we should read it. We'll tell you how you can follow Mr. Vallas's work. But in the meantime, nobody's championed this louder than you. And that's the idea that the Chicago School Board, as it exists and going forward, has fought a fight to help those in power and not help these kids. Expand on that.
Well, look, the schools are performing abysmally, and the reason they perform abysmally is because the union will block the schools from really prioritizing the budgets and how they spend money in ways that benefit kids. What do I mean by that? The collective bargaining agreements limit the length of the school day, limits the length of the school year. It makes it virtually impossible to close a failing school or reconstitute that school, to bring in a better model. And there's really no effective teacher evaluations. I think the number of teacher evaluations last year, 100%. And that means 100% of the teachers received positive evaluations. I mean, despite the fact that for black students, for example, I think only 6% of the kids are meeting state standards in math, and 11% are meeting state standards in reading. So clearly, their response to the failure of the schools has been to eliminate competition. And you already saw it with the Chicago Teachers Union leading the way to kill the very, very modest, very tiny Invest in Kids Scholarship Program that benefits about 9,600 families, over half of them low income. But now you're seeing the assault on both magnet schools and charter schools. So the union wants to eliminate competition. And let me point out that the impact of that elimination of competition, obviously it hurts all students, but it particularly impacts low-income Black and Latino students. And if I can, elaborate just a bit, they want to now really, in effect, get rid of the magnet schools. And as someone who opened the vast majority of the magnet high schools during the 1990s, when enrollment in the Chicago public schools was exploding, you had huge increases in enrollment over a period of 6-7 years. The overwhelming vast majority of the kids who go to magnet schools are actually low-income families, Black and Latino low-income families, 70% of the students.
So, Paul, are they as it stands right now, though, students can choose where they want to go to school, correct? And this program would basically say, no, you have to go, or if it is changed, rather, they would have to go to schools either in their neighborhood or in their vicinity, correct?
Yeah, well, what they're really trying to do is they want to get rid of the select enrollment schools. All school districts have gifted programs and select enrollment programs. So there's 140, visualize this for a second. There's 146 high schools, and 11 are select enrollment high schools. I opened 8 of those select enrollment high schools. And at the end of the day, and I put select enrollment in about 15 neighborhood schools, academies, international baccalaureate academies. Long story short, what they want to do is they want to get rid of the select enrollment schools. I don't know whether or not you'll still be able to apply to those schools, but they are not schools that you're going to have to test in and things like that. So they want to get rid of those schools. And again, over 70% of the kids who go to those schools are Black and Latino children. But they also want to destroy the charter schools. Right now, there's 126 charter schools. Now, for the layman out there, charter schools are public schools. They are not-for-profit schools. They're not privatized schools. But these are schools that are not required to negotiate with the Chicago Teachers Union, can hire teachers who are not members of the Chicago Teachers Union, or they are free to organize them. And you know the way they're going to destroy the charter schools? First of all, they've already capped the number of charter schools by number and by enrollment. So even if you have a high-performing charter school that has open enrollment, they're capped in the number of new kids they can take. But now they want to limit that. Now they want to force every one of these charter schools to come in and go through the laborious process of renewing their application every 2 years, which will effectively destroy the schools. And 96% of the children who go to these charter schools are Black and Latino children. 88% are low-income children. These are families who are so dissatisfied with their failing neighborhood schools that they apply to these charter schools. You don't have to test into them. They're open enrollment. They have to meet all the mandates in terms of selecting kids. They can't pick their kids. They have to meet their special education mandates. And they want to destroy the charter school movement. So you have a teachers union that is so determined to protect its monopoly that they are willing to inflict great pain on the district and, in effect, to take away school choice that will overwhelmingly and adversely impact poor children, particularly Black and Latino.
So what do people do? What do people do to continue the fight?
Well, what people have to do, I think people have to get outraged. So we understand the number of families that are affected. There are 9,600 children affected in getting rid of the modest, tiny scholarship program. There's 55,000 students in the charter schools, and there's 12,000 students in the magnet schools. That's 75,000 students. We all remember all the hoopla that followed Rahm Emanuel's closing of 50, for the most part, virtually empty neighborhood schools that ultimately displaced 700 kids. That 700 kids left the district because of the closing of those schools. Now, I'm not defending that closing, but now you have something that's going to adversely impact 75,000 kids, and it's time for parents to get outraged.
But outrage meaning what? I mean, I can sit here and I do it all the time. I bitch about people voting. You specifically, in my view, were victimized by the fact that we had an incredibly low turnout, or you'd be the mayor of the city. So, in particular, related to this question, is there another answer other than vote the people out who aren't willing to change the system for the good of the kids? Am I missing something? Is there another answer there?
No, there isn't. And as you know, now we're going to an elected school board where they're going to elect, a 21-member board to guide the district. It's going to be important for people to support candidates who support public school choice. So, there's three ways to have an impact. The first way is schools have local school councils. It's important for people to go to local school council meetings and to stand up and defend and protect their schools the same way they did when Rahm Emanuel closed the 15 mostly empty schools. The second thing is to obviously make your influence and impact and anger felt in the ballot box. And the third thing is really to come to City Hall and to protest, because the mayor still controls the schools, and it's really important to put pressure. It's really important to put pressure on the mayor and the city council because you got a collective bargaining agreement coming up with the Chicago Teachers Union, despite the fact that they're already spending $30,000 a kid. The district is once again claimed poor, claiming they have a $400 million deficit. I mean, it's outrageous. Almost 60% of our property taxes go directly to a school system that is failing the kids. So this is an assault on poor families. This is an assault on all the children who are deserving of public school education. But the biggest impact is going to be felt in the poor communities, the Black and Latino communities.
Right. As you lay out in your piece, Illinois Policy Institute is where this is posted. You can get it there. You can read Paul Vallas in the Chicago Tribune as well. And keep us up to date when protests about this form that could actually do some good and actually help kids. We want to know about it, and you're going to know about it before we do. So you have our number. Call us and let us know. And I'll try not to say ridiculous things before you come on when you're listening on hold. It's Paul Vallas.
No promises, though.
Illinois Policy Institute. Also follow you on social media and just Google up Paul Vallas anywhere. Vallas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.